Hello from Bali. Today is my Sabbath and I was planning on taking a taxi and going to Ganga, which is a water palace, only to find out that taxis are kind of hard to call online here because it's a quiet beach town and there just aren't a lot of them. So of course, looking like a tourist on my walk back, a taxi driver walked up to me and offered to do a tour of all the places that I wanted, and I think the price is kind of steep. And he was explaining to me how there are no online taxis in Ahmed, and he's the taxi driver. There's like this animosity between online taxi drivers and in-person taxi drivers. I think there is everywhere, but it's so much easier for me to book a taxi online because then I can pay for it with card, and it really is annoying to pay for it with cash because then I have to get more cash out and it's a whole thing. And so I asked my homestay person what the best way was, and he said that there is like a shuttle bus that up the road they have information on, which conveniently is right next to where that taxi driver was sitting. So I kind of decided that today I was going to sit on the beach and figure this out, but now I have to decide if I am doing a tour or not. Alright, well, that decision took way longer than it needed to. At the end of the day, I just really don't trust Indonesian taxi drivers. It does not help their cause that they're always angry and very pushy, trying to sell you something in your face. And I'm like, this is not what I want. It's also not who I want to spend 2 hours in the car with. So, sorry. I also don't really feel safe. Not that I feel unsafe per se, but I like booking through the apps for a taxi because I get to see reviews, I get to see who's driving me, I can send my route to people. And with just a random taxi, especially for something like a tour where I'm gone for hours, it just makes me feel better if I can send my location and who's driving me to people. And I know that getting a taxi driver locally is supporting local business, but I feel like for me, safety is more important. So I'm walking around Central Ahmed, taking pictures of signs that all advertise tours, and I think if I get a tour, it'll include the things that I wanted to do and maybe more that I didn't know about. And I feel more comfortable that way because letting a random aggressive taxi driver take me places is a little bit stressful. So I woke up this morning thinking that is what I would do with my day, and the lack of taxi availability online made me change my plans. So now I'm in a cafe overlooking salt. There is a sea salt company in Ahmed that makes salt this way, and this is how they do it. They dry ocean water out to get the sea salt. It's pretty cool. After I found out that taxis were harder to come by the way I want them to be, this morning I looked up renting a scooter, which would only be a couple dollars a day, which isn't bad, especially if I want to just rent it for a day or two and do all of my touring at the same time. But in Bali, the internet says that you need an international driver's license, which you can apply for online if you have a valid license from your home country. Apparently, police are cracking down on, like, if they would pull you over and you wouldn't have one, it would be a big deal and they would be able to fine you. And an international driver's license costs about the tours that I want to do. So I could get it, but it wouldn't necessarily save me money, and then I would have to drive on these roads, which I think I could do, but at the moment I don't have health insurance, and I kind of feel like that is pretty irresponsible to drive a motorbike in an Asian country without health insurance. So it is really affordable to rent your own motorbike and travel that way, but I just don't think that is the right fit for me. So I am going to message all of these tours and see what I can get. So I'm on the beach again because today has not turned out how I thought it would. I have been doing a lot of research on tours, and I still haven't found anything that I'm really impressed with. For whatever reason, hiking Mount Agung is expensive compared to everything else, even though it's not that far away. And for whatever reason, Ahmed is just seen as really far out of the way and difficult to get tours from. It's a diving town here and has lots of diving and snorkeling. I'm not the best swimmer, so that is not something I feel super comfortable doing at this point. The beach is really nice to sit on. Today has been a game planning day. I think I've decided that I'm going to try to get a motorbike taxi to the places I wanted to see today. I think I'm going to try and do that either tomorrow or the next day. I really would rather take a motorbike than a car. Cars have air conditioning, so everyone views them as nicer, but I like riding on a motorbike, and I'm not confident enough to rent one for myself, so I might as well have someone drive me on one. And it's cheaper, but it's also way more fun. I reached out to a bunch of tours. Some of them have gotten back to me already, some of them have not. Usually hotels and homestays book tours through them and then they get a cut, but normally that is a better deal than like me just messaging a number that's posted on a poster on the street. But my homestay is a very low maintenance homestay, and it's like brothers who own it or something, and they just are totally tapped out. They really don't want to own and run this homestay, you can tell. It's very nice, it's clean. I like the location for what I want to do here. It's close to some really good coffee shops, but they do not have any sort of tours that I can book through them. After Ahmed, I'm still in Bali for about a week, and so I haven't figured out where I'm going yet, but I'm going to be on the other side of the island. There's the most popular hiking tour is Mount Batur, and that one is closer to the other side of the island, so I can always wait and do that one then, and then it'll cost less because they'll be picking me up from my hotel closer rather than all the way over here. But sitting on the beach, getting a nice Balinese tan and cafe hopping, drinking iced lattes and watermelon juice is not a bad way to spend my time either. Ahmed is definitely a laid-back pace. Definitely a sleepy little beach town. It's really pretty, but it does not have the same pulse of energy as the places in Bali I've been so far. Denpasar was like a city, that was where the airport is, and then Kuta was right next to it and definitely felt more city, and then Ubud felt more like a town, like a thriving, lively town. And now Ahmed is more like quiet, sleepy village town. And it's nice to see all the sides of Bali. I mean, not all the sides. There are so many places that I'm not going to be able to get to while I'm here. But it's nice to see the variety of what Bali has to offer. There are so many people who always come and vacation in Ahmed. And I guess it's for the laid-back beaches that have no one on them, and for the diving. I really wish I knew how to dive, because there is like a shipwreck offshore that I guess divers go to. I'm not confident enough in my swimming to do it at this point, but maybe in the future. So that leaves me kind of figuring out what I want to do here. I've been looking up hiking trails, local hiking trails here, because it's beautiful, like volcanic mountains. It's not a lot of mountains, but you know, it looks like there should be good hiking. There is some of that mentioned online, and so I think I'm going to try and do some hiking that is not summiting mountains, just like casual hiking. While I'm here, I am going to get a lot of writing done because it's hard to go other places. The water palace and the Limpuyan temple, and there are places like that that I'll be able to go while I'm here. So it's not like a lost cause. Today is my Sabbath, so I am fasting solid foods, and I am trying to have a day of rest where I just spend it with God, spend time, you know, praying and thinking and investing in that relationship. And so I really don't think that trying to get taxis and, you know, going all over the place, figuring out a tour of all of these places is what was supposed to happen today. I just don't think that was the pace I wanted for today, and so I'm grateful to be sitting on a beach in the hot weather in November. It was not what I thought it was going to be, but it still turned out to be a good day.